But you're right. This is a massive game, and I think it's a big narrative game because I think there are a lot of people who look at Notre Dame and they're like, okay, they've been handed this ranking on a silver platter, or a gold platter, I should say, similar to their helmets, where it's just like they're living on the reputation of their program. And there are other programs that maybe deserve higher rankings, but they're not, in the cachet as Notre Dame. So this is Notre Dame's chance to prove it. But you look at this line, it's 12.5. Honestly, I feel like this is a pretty steep line for Notre Dame, especially with this matchup, because I do think that Pitt does some things really well that's going to be tough for Notre Dame. Because number one, Pitt is one of the best defenses, at least on paper, at stopping the run. I understand it's not apples to apples when it comes to college football because, Pitt has been playing in the ACC. But still, I do think there are some things that Pitt could maybe throw in there to at least cover the number.
Stopping Jeremiah Love is going to be very difficult. And I'd like to think that the reason Notre Dame is ranked as highly as they are is really based off of Jeremiah Love, because you're right. I mean, gold platter, crystal platter, diamond platter, it's all the same. They shouldn't be ranked in the top 10. Texas right now has a better resume than they do. Oklahoma right now has a better resume than they do. Miami right now has a better resume than they do. And by the way, they beat them, which should count for something. And it just, for whatever the reason is, the people in that room, they love putting Notre Dame in. But clearly Vegas likes them too. Because that 12, and I thought this number, Chelsa, was going to be 7.5. Maybe you get to 8.5, especially with the game being at Pittsburgh. But with Notre Dame going on the road and laying 12.5, this does set up the potential, at least if I'm following the lines the way that I am, that this could be a bloodbath and that Notre Dame is just going to absolutely smack them around the yard. Also, if Aaron Donald is on College game day and he doesn't slam Pat McAfee through a table of some kind, what's even the point?
I feel like Pat McAfee would hear that idea and be like, you know what? Let's do it. I love it.
He's
I feel
gone
like
through
he'd
a
be
table.
on board with that. Right.
He knows how to. He can bump. He knows how to do it.
But I do think if you're gonna use the ammo and say like Notre Dame hasn't played that difficult of a schedule, you probably have to say that about Pitt as well, because it's not like a murderer's row, playing, Central Michigan and West Virginia, who they had to go to overtime with, and they did lose.
That's a rivalry
They're only
game,
top
though.
25. Right? Yeah, backyard brawl, but like still, it's just. You look at their only top 25 matchup, and they lost it against Louisville, 34-27, and that was a home game for Pitt. So I think it's just one of those unknowns where Pitt has some of these good numbers on paper, but how good are they when these numbers are made against teams like Boston College and, Syracuse? So I do think maybe that's where this line comes from and maybe why it seems high, but still in such a big game where, again, it almost feels like the NFL where teams want to get in and get out. Like Notre Dame feels like they don't really have to prove anything. They just need to win this game.
It must be nice. You want to talk about being born on third base. We got to prove nothing. We just got to win. We just got to get in and out. Pittsburgh's not going to get in as an at-large bid more likely than not, no matter what happens this weekend. But they just need to start stacking wins. And this doesn't even really hurt them in the quest for an ACC championship game because Notre Dame's non-con. But Pitt has been a fun team over the last few weeks just to see kind of come out of nowhere when we are so focused on your Miamis and your Georgia Techs and your UVAs to blink and then, oh, wait, this Pittsburgh team's pretty good. They're ranked in the first CFP rankings. They're continuing to put some wins together. So that's been a fun story. And again, what has been a very crazy ACC.
I wanted to add one more thing because this quote, I can't even believe it's real. Did you see what Pat Narduzzi said this week about this game? And maybe it's him posturing to make sure that if they do lose this game, there's still a pathway for them to, win the ACC. Because somebody asked him ahead of, this week's game, they said, do you feel like Notre Dame is a must-win game for you guys? He said, absolutely not. It's not an ACC game. I'd gladly get beat by 100 or 103 or 110-10. They could put 100 up on us as long as we win the next two after that. What?
He's right. They are.
He's right,
they want to get to the ACC championship game. It's a bold thing to say that you want to lose by 100. That would probably not be great on the eye test, especially to the people in the committee. But he's right. They don't really care about it. They're in a nice position to where they can lose that game and it doesn't impact their goals of getting to the ACC championship game and getting to the college football playoff. There's not a lot of teams right now that can say that with 2 losses.
But still, like, imagine you're a player on that team. You're like, excuse me, what, coach?
I bet they've said that in the locker room. Narduzzi's a straight shooter. I love him.
But here's the thing, like, does this scare you about taking the 12.5 with Pitt?
I'm not taking a 12.5. I'm not touching that one. If I'm betting on this one, I'm laying those points with Notre Dame. The story's fun, but come on now. I'm not letting a story line my pockets here. I need money.
I don't know. So that one's tricky.